hot. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and today I thought I'd do something a little bit fun. I've been watching loads of these videos lately. A lot of people have done my fitness journey, and I thought it'd be cool to share my fitness journey, more specifically my swimming journey. Obviously, if you are new to this channel, please click the subscribe button because it really supports my channel. And I am a swimmer. I currently swim at the University of Stirling, and I love it here. Absolutely love it here, but I thought it would be cool to share my journey with you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up because it really supports my channel, and let's get started because I know it's going to be a long one anyway, so I'm going to stop rambling on and let's go. Got my coffee. Whew. So, I, like any other kid, started swimming through swimming lessons, and I started at Carlisle pools, and I'm not gonna lie, I was that pain in the arse child who did not want to swim. I remember my parents could not get me off the step, so at Carlisle pools there's like little steps and into the baby pool, and there was like a little bit of water on one of the steps, and I would just swim up and down that step, and I would not go to the next step. So my parents were like, right, we're flinging her in swimming lessons, and I have always been a tall child. I was always tall, long and thin, and so in swimming lessons I was such an annoying child to teach. Looking back now, if I was that swim teacher, I would be absolutely fuming, just because it was so hard to get me to actually swim. So I used to like hop and pretend to swim, so on one leg touching the ground and just pretend to swim. So my parents were like, right, this isn't working, we'll take her to a private swimming instructor. So I then went to Maurice Whittington, who was a private swimming instructor who was teaching at Ballantyne's at the time. So I went to him, and he was absolutely incredible. He was very, in his way of teaching, he used the Australian way a lot. He really was passionate about his swimming, and I think that came through into me. And then he then moved to a bigger group, so it was, I think there was about 6 or 7 of us at a different pool. It was still a private pool, and he would teach me and these other kids there. And again, he was absolutely incredible. He taught me, the absolute credit to him, he taught me the importance of high elbow and freestyle, which obviously stuck with me forever. He was also very much technique comes first, speed comes later kind of person, which obviously is so important when you're such a young age. And then as I grew faster and faster, he was like, why don't you join a club? So my nearest club was Carlisle. Well, it was City of Carlisle at the time. So I joined City of Carlisle, and the way it worked was you got like a 2-week free trial. And my first session there, I absolutely hated it. I walked onto poolside and they had the dive blocks in, and I turned to my dad and was like, I am not going off them. And he was like, oh, they won't make you, it's your first session kind of thing. Well, needless to say, that session was dives. Little Sophie was like, not today. So after my first session there, I was like, I'm not going back. And my parents were like, oh, well, you've got 2 weeks free trial, stick out the 2 weeks and see if you enjoy it then. You can't like just gauge it off one session. So I did what they said, and I went back for the whole 2 weeks, given the fact that it was free, and I'm Scottish and love free stuff. So then my parents were like, do you enjoy it? So from this time, after 2 weeks, I was loving it, absolutely loving it, and I wanted to stay. So I started in the club when I was 8 years old, so 2008, and I started with the school year, so I started in September 2008. So I then just carried on through the ranks at Carlisle, and it changed from City of Carlisle to Carlisle Aquatics, which it is now. So if anyone's from Carlisle Aquatics, please give this video a thumbs up, and hi. You probably don't know me, I'm probably too old for you now because a lot of them are a lot younger, but anyway, that's I'm not that old. And then I ended up in the top squad at Carlisle Aquatics and was absolutely loving training. My coach was so dedicated. He was a volunteer coach. Graham Pearson was an absolute legend. And unfortunately this year he's just passed away from pancreatic cancer, and the funeral was absolutely beautiful. I always stayed in touch with him because when I was younger, he did a lot for me as a swimmer. Obviously he didn't get paid, and yet he would travel to Scottish Nationals for me. He would travel all over for the club. He would take us to long course training, even though he didn't have a kid in the club. He would do so much for a volunteer basis, and I genuinely respected the guy so much. He was an incredible coach. But as I started to get a little bit faster, I made my first Scottish Nationals when I was 12 in the 800 free. I made Scottish National age groups for the 800 free in 2012. I think I want to say I went to short course in 2012, but I think it might have been 2013. So I then qualified for the 800 and the 400 free. So I loved training with Graham and I loved training at Carlisle, but it just wasn't pushing me as much as I wanted to. So I decided to move to Dumfries swim club, which was a longer commute, but it was definitely worth it. So at the time, Ben Hickson was the coach, and I absolutely loved training. I got more pool time, I got more meters, I just got challenged a lot more, and the environment was a lot better. Definitely everyone wanted to be there, and it was such a good environment to be in. And it was quite refreshing to go from one of the fastest swimmers to one of the slowest. I have always loved a challenge, and I've always liked to chase people. I'm very competitive, and when I moved to Dumfries there was a lot more for me to be competitive with and for me to chase people with. So I definitely think the move was right for me. So I moved to Dumfries in 2013 when I was 13 years old. I had swam my first 1500 by then. I was always a distance swimmer. Back in my Carlisle days, we always did long stuff, a lot of short rest kind of stuff, and from a young age I was just very distance orientated, never been a sprinter, could not sprint to save my life at all. So yeah, my first nationals was for Carlisle and I was 12, and I swam the 800 free, and then I started qualifying for more events as I grew older. I swam at the Scottish National Open in 2013, the 1500 free, and that was my first 1500 long course because I qualified short course and just converted the time. So that meet, I was looking at moving to Dumfries, and I started talking to the coaches and stuff, and then yeah, I moved to Dumfries. So through Dumfries, I absolutely love training. Ben Higson then moved a couple of months after I joined. So that was a bit of a spanner in the works, but nevertheless, like, I loved the environment that I was in. The coaches were like incredible. It was such a good atmosphere, and it was well worth the extra journey time. So at Carlisle, I'd got about 5 or 6 sessions a week, whereas at Dumfries I was getting 7 to 8, and the session time was longer. So at Carlisle I was only getting an hour and a half, whereas at Dumfries I was getting 2 hours, which was so much better. Our pool then shut in 2014, so we went to a temporary facility which is still going now in 2018. There's been a lot of drama with DG1. It's a bit of a joke really. The pool really hasn't stood well, and the council really needs to sort themselves out. Then fast forward a couple of years to 2016, my coach left and I got Anthony Ryan. And we worked so well together. He dealt with a lot of crap from me because at the time I was really struggling mentally, so the poor boy's seen me cry far too much. Sorry, Anthony. And yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed working with Anthony, but towards my end of my time at Dumfries, before I was moving to uni, the squad was very young. Now, when I moved, there was such an old squad, and it was a lot different to what it is now. Now it's very young top squad, whereas before it had been a very old top squad, and I kind of struggled being the only old swimmer. I say old, I'm not that old, but I kind of struggled being the only older swimmer. I've always been very mature. I did struggle just to not have someone around me. I've always been very disciplined. I didn't struggle for the discipline side of things, but just because I was struggling mentally, I did really struggle for someone to turn to, and Anthony was the only person I could really turn to. And obviously my parents are amazing, supported me through everything. The one thing I would say is, coaches, if you are watching this, please look after your swimmers, and please value their mental health just as much as their physical health. Don't put too much pressure on them. Swimmers always put so much pressure on themselves as it is. I definitely know that from experience, coaches can definitely affect swimmers a lot. So I left Dumfries to go, my final year at Dumfries last year, so 2018, the season just finished, I was swimming not as fast as I wanted to be. I worked so hard. I've always been such a hard worker. I was doing extra sessions. I was doing 9 sessions a week. I was putting my body through so much. Mentally, I was still struggling. Mentally, I struggled since 2016, and I think that does show in my performance, but not as much as I thought at the time. I really was going through a lot of bad stuff. And 2018 at Scottish National Age Groups, I took a week break after that meet just to clear my head and sort of like take a break from swimming and try and learn to love life rather than just live for swimming. And that week really helped me. I was definitely burnt out from so much pressure for exams. Obviously I had A-levels at the time, I was doing 9 sessions a week, getting up at 4:30, going straight to school. I was just burnt out physically and mentally, and I was in such a bad place, but that a week definitely was worth it. So then after my week off, I came back and there'd been some rumours that I'd quit, and that was interesting. Obviously, you should never believe a rumour, but you know, small minds and all that. And then I came back and I sat down with my coach, Anthony, and we worked out that maybe I was just burnt out, maybe I needed to do less sessions and squeeze more quality into it. So I cut down my sessions, dropped the extra session, dropped from 9 sessions a week to, I want to say 7 sessions a week, or maybe 6. And we kind of just focus more on my mental health rather than my actual times. So I think that was definitely needed. Looking back, I wish I'd taken a longer break after snags, but do you know what? I wouldn't change it because I've definitely learned a lot from the whole experience. So then obviously I finished the season with Dumfries. I felt very isolated just because I was so old compared to the other swimmers. And then I got my exams out of the way, got into Stirling University, which had been my dream university since I was 12, and obviously moved up here. But after the season of last season just gone, so at the end of, so in August, July, I took a break to evaluate whether or not I would continue swimming at university. Now, I was in a very dark place mentally and was really struggling, and I kind of thought maybe it was because of swimming. Looking back now, I think it was just the environment I was in. But I took the break and I didn't swim July. After the Scottish National Summer Meet, I took the rest of the season off, didn't swim, because I just wanted to reevaluate my place in the sport. So I sat down and looked, like, I went to the gym a lot. I was thoroughly enjoying the gym. I was thoroughly enjoying lifting and just making myself stronger. And then I went on holiday, took a couple of weeks off. I went to Nice and Murcia. The vlogs are on this channel. Please watch them. And I came back and had the Scottish National Open Water. By this time, I was convinced I was leaving the sport. I was ready to hang up my swimsuit, ready to hang up everything. I just felt like I'd been so much happier for taking the time away from the pool, and I felt like I was a better person for being away from swimming. And then I swam the Scottish National Open Water and absolutely loved it. And that made me sit back and be like, am I actually ready to leave? Have I done everything I want to achieve? Maybe I just need to refocus. So that led me to refocus, to away from the pool swimming to the open water swimming. So now I focus more towards open water and the obviously long distance stuff. Like, I absolutely love open water. There's something about it that makes me feel free. I definitely would not change that. So yeah, that's basically my journey, and now I'm training with Charlie Balderson and I freaking love it. I love swimming again. It's so refreshing to be around such supportive teammates. I'm honestly so grateful for my teammates. If any of you are watching this, I love you guys. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving training again, loving racing again. I'm so excited for some warmer weather so that I can get outside in the locks. And that's basically my swimming journey to date. Obviously things will change, things will happen. This coffee's slightly gone cold. Oh no, it's still okay. Yeah, things will change, things will happen, but I definitely would not change my journey. I definitely think that swimming has made me the person I am today. I'm definitely a different person to when I started swimming. I would be a different person if it weren't for swimming. I've learned so much through it. I honestly love the sport so much, and it's so refreshing to be back, loving training, excited to train, excited to go to the pool, excited to work hard, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm so happy that I gave myself the chance in a new program. I think all I needed was the break. I think I was just burnt out, and I just needed a change of things, change of scenery. Sometimes change is really important, so yeah, I absolutely love it now. So I'm gonna stop rambling on. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love you guys so much. Please click the subscribe button because it really supports my channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment below if you are a swimmer or are looking to be a swimmer. I could give any tips, any advice. Please comment below, because I'm definitely happy to answer any questions. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!